coach. Actually, we're part of a
coaching team.
Yeah.
Coaching team.
He's the head coach, and I'm the Machai coach. I try my best to not mess things up in the coaching field in rugby.
Well, I got to say, having said that, right, we got a coaching team of what, four, but it's 4 or 5 of us, right?
Yeah.
And have you not noticed that every time in tournaments we have 2 teams, and the first team always goes with you?
I'm lucky.
Yeah, for some reason, I find the first team is you manage to find how to
motivate them
the right way.
Mold them, yeah.
Whereas a guy like me is like, how does he do it every time?
No, but it's good. I mean, Coach Dylan, or Datuk Dylan, is really I would say one of the modest gentlemen in Malaysia, especially in terms of his achievements, and especially of what we're doing in terms of rugby, in terms of business as well. I want to touch on that. And in terms of your own publishing and social media empire. Now I won't say empire, but it's just empire. He said Dato. He needs an empire. No, but I like.
You're okay.
Salesperson. We're going to dig into all of this today, and we're going to have lunch. We're here at the Sheraton PJ, and we're having a working lunch, a set lunch. It will be arriving soon for those who tune in for our weekly lunch sessions to see what we're eating. We're just waiting for the kitchen to get their act together. Dato, I wanted to ask you actually the team of coaches at Cobra is I mean, our team is just 4 or 5, but there's a bigger team
group.
You're managing a lot of people. Of course, you've got a team also helping you manage. I mean, that's the kind of nature of business, nature of coaching. What can you say you've learned from coaching that can be applied to business, that can be applied to how we're going to move out of COVID-19?
Well, I'll give you a quick one basic summary, and then we can expand on that.
Sure.
What I found in coaching, coaching is we're coaching kids.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So if you are able to manage a group of kids, to work together as a team, to play a brutal sport, which is rugby.
Yeah.
It's a very physical sport.
Not that brutal.
Okay, it's a physical sport. Okay, it's a physical sport, but there's so many aspects to the game, right? As in, it's a physical sport. So you got to train them to play as a team, and then make sure that they enjoy the game and be safe at all times.
Yes.
So there's a whole lot of things to
COVID
put
safe
together.
and rugby safe as well.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
So if you're able to do that, and then coexist with your own coaches to find the right mix, because I mean, for example, just use our age group as an example, right? I'm the head coach. I've got a structure. I prepare a structure, prepare the environment. But then you realize we have one coach who's good at driving the kids in like a military sergeant. Then you get one coach who knows to speak the right words to ignite a certain player to get out of his shell. And then you have one who needs a softer touch. So you get all these coaches coming together, and then it's putting it together. And then at the end of the day, what we tend to win most of our games.
We have been beating anyone joining us from Tigers or Jaya team. Remember the last time we played before COVID-19? Just remember.
Okay, so but results notwithstanding, end of the day, the kids have fun. They don't realize when they're training as well, they actually had to go through a point of, it's basically a struggle to some extent. But end of the day, they walk away happy.
Yes.
They found that they've learned a few things, and then a better appreciation of each other. And if they walk away with that, as a coach, I feel that we've achieved something, and that's joining the guideline. And it's not about telling people what to do, but sort of, I'd say, asking the right questions in the right way, and then eventually
getting them motivated to deliver to deliver that ball to the try line.
So essentially, this is where the correlation between team sports and business comes into play. I mean, if you want to expand it further to the whole team, right? Then you got 10 age groups, you have 40 coaches, diverse personalities, diverse socioeconomic background, a whole variety of things, right? You want to you want to translate that to the overall world environment. That's, I mean, that's what gets me excited to turn up every day on a Sunday.
Exactly.
You're talking about that's Malaysia. That's the whole of Malaysia there on the rugby field.
Exactly. I mean, we've got hundreds of kids and 40 odd coaches even coaches from around the world, volunteering. I would say it's one of the largest volunteer coaching programs in any sport in the country, unofficially speaking, of course. Anyone with doing any other sport, let us know. We're willing to stack that up. But Cobra, of course, is also an organization with an immense amount of tradition.
That's right.
And what do you see now with COVID-19? Some traditions have just been thrown out the window. And we see it in the business world as well. Okay, this works, keep it. This doesn't work, it just gets thrown away. How does that impact the way you do business with your team in the office?
Okay, so what's interesting about when you talk about bringing a name like Cobra, which has been around since 1967. So much like a lot of what we have or come to this stage, right? We have a lot of legacy. We have a lot of history. There's a lot of successes and failures. We're quite rich in all of that. So and now I don't know if anybody will agree with me or whatever, but we're in that. I'd say we're kind of stuck right now. We're trying to rediscover ourselves, and the pandemic has basically forced us to reflect on these things. A number of guys or relatives, or even myself, were forced to reflect because sit down at home, you can't do anything.
A lot of reflection,
and Netflix isn't just about gonna do anything for that. So how do we? So knowing all these things, how do we do better? How do we improve ourselves and also accepting the hard truths? It's still the truth. It may be difficult to bear, but you have to learn to accept the truth. And that's one of the key things. And going forward, I'd say, and then so going forward, with how I dealt with my team is basically getting everybody to acknowledge. The first thing is like, hey, where are we now? Pretty much that. Where are we?
What have you seen changed in the way? Has the way you manage people changed, or what you're managing changes? Has your management style changed, or what has stayed the same? Have you had time to reflect on that?
I actually did. Actually, the key word, the main thing there is trust and accountability.
Trust, accountability.
Trust and accountability. Meaning, and knowing that no one's perfect. Everyone's gonna make mistakes, and so this is where you have to trust somebody. When you trust somebody with the work, with the job, with the task, you got to trust him. Can't be looking over his shoulder and stuff. So you got to trust him. And then let he or she go and do it. You don't know until you
give them the task to deliver.
And they may fail. But you gotta trust them that they're doing it with the right intent. They may do it. They may execute it wrong at the end of the day, but they're doing it with the right intent. That's one thing I gotta make sure when I give them when I trust them to do something, that intent is correct. Then comes accountability. You can't. Then don't come back with excuses. You can come back with reasons, but you were tasked with the job. Be accountable for it.
Deliver. Catch the ball, score the try. You know who I'm talking about if you
not naming, I won't name names, but and and those are the two things. And then look, and then the term "don't cry over spilled milk." I try to do that because if
Okay.
you cry over it,
Yeah.
then it just spoils the whole environment.
And you're just helping Kleenex as a company, really, not a good idea. Now, you've also got a business in tourism. Now, for me,
Yeah.
tourism is one of the most important
Mm.
industries that we have. It delivers revenue for airlines. It delivers revenue for hotels. It delivers revenue for taxi drivers and Grab drivers. How has your business been impacted by COVID-19, and are you starting to see a light at the end of the tunnel that it's not the oncoming train?
I think we've been hit by that train.
Okay. All right.
I think if everyone looks, I mean, it's all on the news. You got a hotel in Penang that shut down after 20 or 30 years in operations.
Yeah.
You've had hotels forcing to cut people. The impact, I think, I don't talk about it. People know in general what the impact is, right? And I'm no different.
Okay.
I'm no different. What I did find is that prior to all this, we actually, me always thinking about, is like this. I knew at some time of when you're doing business, there's going to be a recession.
Yeah.
So for the 5 years when we're in operations, it's about, look guys, let's be wise with the money.
Don't go and splurge.
Don't go and splurge and stuff like that, and then spend on what's important. But not, I want to say, like, we spend a lot of money on maintenance.
Okay.
Want to make sure things are running well. So, but then when it came to this pandemic, so we had a buffer zone.
Okay.
And of course, I really have to credit the government for instituting the moratorium, the bank moratoriums, where they came in, the Penjana, where they supported the low income group. So that really helped keep my business alive. This one I have really credit to whoever thought of it up and executed it. It really helped. So what it tells me there is that there are a lot of good guys out there.
Okay. All right.
A lot of good guys, sincere guys with the right intent in doing the job. And if they, like I said before, they had the right intent. I have to say, with the right intent, it's not a perfect picture, but I would say my hotel has a chance to survive.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then in handling the impact, this is where I got to credit the Malaysian Association of Hotels.
Okay.
Yeah, they actually, when it all happened, they pretty much similar to what you have, is a bit of a crisis management. They had their own thing.
Own team,
They were in touch with most of the general managers. They were in touch with all the hotel managers, finding solutions, finding ways and means, and they were pretty fast in issuing letters.
I saw a lot of letters or statements coming out from them, which is good.
So it gives, sometimes you may not have a solution, but by being on the ball with it, it actually gives a certain comfort. And then look guys, we're all in this together.
Yeah.
So let's try and do our part and just, it helps with the environment. You're not crying over spilled milk. You're trying to find a solution. Okay. So that's to me.
You're in that rugby team approach as well. That like who's going to pick up the ball, whoever scores doesn't matter.
So it's what I find about that is it uplifts the heart, motivation. Sometimes you get downtrodden. When you go in the news, it's not the most prettiest time. So you go into global news, it's even worse.
That's why they say sometimes, if you want to be successful, don't watch the news. Of course, I won't believe that, because I'm a big fan of the news, because I'm on a few times a week.
I was following you on Banama quite a few times.
Our friends at Banama have been very, very friendly. But I think the other thing that we've noticed, how important the news has actually become, simply because it gives you so much information. And my concern though is information overload, and a lot of people are getting a lot of news, a lot of information, but may or may not be able to make sense of it. And I don't know if you've experienced any of that in your sectors, but when we see the crisis management roll out, part of what we do is like, okay, let's distill the news. Okay, what have we found? What is, and it comes back down to, a lot of people are concerned about the SOPs. A lot of people are concerned about what we can and cannot do. And I think that has really become the kind of common denominator for a lot of businesses right now. What have you seen happening in that sector?
But the news, I think the importance of good editing and more, I would say, professional journalism. I think there's one point that nobody wanted to listen to mainstream journalism anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think the importance of credible people telling the news rather than just a desktop warrior sitting behind, you don't know, like a keyboard warrior pretty much.
Exactly.
I think the rise of that, the importance of, and then of course consistent application, and then people start to able to shift the okay,
the narrative. Okay. Close topic on news in case it leads to politics. We can do that on the show. We can just like cut it. Done.
It's I would say like I actually bought the Star newspaper
today
after 2 years.
Okay.
because
Why?
because I wanted to read mainstream news.
Okay.
Because I could not rely the validity of what's online anymore.
Okay. So it's almost come full circle.
Yeah.
So we were worried about, we couldn't trust the mainstream media because they were tainted, and then we went online, and now we're like, okay, what is real again?
Or maybe it's age catching up.
Yeah, maybe.
It's like I gotta have the piece of paper.
Did you get the glasses? Or no? No, because I think the amount of work that we do on our phones these days is amazing, and it's something that I think fake news is something that is a big concern because it creates a lot of fear. And I think that's one thing. But what your hotel, if I correct me right, is in Langkawi.
That's right.
Langkawi. Whenever I notice, whenever the travel opens up, Langkawi booms. Is that true? Because I read that in the news, and I wanted to, because I haven't been there in a year or so.
I would say you compare that to any other state or any other location in the country, you can call it a boom.
Okay.
But tourism in Malaysia is also dependent on your international travelers.
Okay.
It's not just on our locals. Our locals, there is a market for it, but it's still dependent on the regional and international travelers. So you're talking about a boom, they normally take a picture of it from a certain angle, and then and then suddenly you're saying it's packed. But if you're talking about something that have a picture of Chenang Beach, it's packed with people.
Yeah.
But it's only packed from 5 to 6.
Okay. People don't want to get sunburned.
People don't want to get sunburned.
We know who you are.
I go there. I go there at 10 o'clock in the morning. I'm there till 4 p.m.
Yeah.
And then I leave at 4 p.m. because that's when the crowd kicks
comes
in. Other than that, it's nice.
Yeah.
It's a nice and comfortable environment.
Okay, cool.
Then comes 7 p.m. Everybody's off for dinner.
Yeah.
So it's not really. It's slightly misleading, and that's where you say this. When I say journalism, there's so much out there, and people tend to write that clickbaity kind of.
Yeah.
It's a bit more sensationalism rather than
actual journalism.
Yeah, actual journalism.
Okay.
I mean, you've seen the stuff that I've written.
Yeah.
I've written stuff, right?
Yeah.
So I realized how one can easily manipulate.
I wanted to ask you also, Phuket did something. Phuket is not far from Langkawi. And I heard that Phuket vaccinated everybody on Phuket Island. Is this? I don't know if this is.
I didn't follow.
Okay. Because they were like, okay, let's get Phuket started. And I was, and assuming that it's true, and I'd love for you guys to check from outside. I see we've got a bunch of questions also. Hi guys, we were just excited about catching up. If we don't answer all of these now, we're going to answer them in the comments section below. But one of the things that I wanted to ask you, is it a good idea that we say, okay, look, Langkawi is a strategic location. Why don't we vaccinate everybody there? Because we've got an international airport. So technically people could fly in to Langkawi. Everyone is vaccinated. Everyone who flies in should also be, in a sense, vaccinated.
Yeah.
And is that a way we can open up international tourism, almost like a kind of tourism bubble? Would that be something that?
I think it's idealistic.
Not tomorrow, yeah. Okay.
I think it's idealistic.
Okay.
There's too many moving parts that needs to work together.
Okay.
I don't think there's no team rugby analogy that can get this one to work. I believe
right now.
right
now.
I think it's I don't it's a good idea to have. I've encountered this before. Someone actually brought this idea up.
Okay.
Where the travel bubbles and stuff, but there is quite a lot of moving parts.
Okay.
You're talking about immigration policies, health policies, then you got your international airlines, which comes to this point, right? When it comes to crisis and pandemics, if the airlines can't solve it, I don't think anybody can.
Okay. They're pretty good, right?
The airlines have always been always taken lead when it came, when there was terrorism. Which one? Which is the body that actually led towards safety? Is the airlines.
Yeah. Well, it's a big airline. I mean, it's a big plane. You don't want it to go.
Yeah, down from because you're traveling from country to country. Then your airports are pretty much neutral zones. So so the airlines are pretty good at. They would have all the information, the data, and if they haven't. If they're not able to solve it, I don't know.
We're not there yet.
I don't think so.
Okay, we'll allow the airlines to keep leading the way in solving those problems. What I really want to know, I have an important question to ask the waiter, which is where is the food? If anyone from Sheraton PJ is watching this show, by all means, please get us our food because we're getting hungry. No, okay, we're okay. We're big, strong lads, but because I've ordered, just to let you guys know, I've ordered the lamb and Datuk's ordered the fish. So just imagine how amazing it is. Actually, Sheraton PJ has amazing food. That's why and it's not far from the rugby field as well.
I came from the rugby field. I came from the rugby field. It's you mentioned hotel. It just occurred to me. This is the first time I'm in a hotel since MCO 1.0.
Oh wow!
I never stepped into any hotel in
KL.
Langkawi because I have one.
Because you have to.
But I've never stepped into any other hotel. Maybe I did go to Perhentian once, but I don't count that. But within here, because you normally have meetings in hotels. But
things have changed.
I just realized this is the first time I've stepped into a hotel.
Yeah. The one thing I like, and it's one thing that we've seen, is the SOPs have been quite good. Especially what I've noticed because we've been doing these working lunches at a lot of the different hotels, and SOPs are good. Distancing is good. Food is good. And then a lot of the hotels are also doing this like work from the hotel lobby, which is kind of fun. So you don't have to necessarily just work from home. What is your experience of working from? Are you the kind of guy who has to go to the office to get things done, or can you work from home, or I mean, you've got to have a remote scenario with Langkawi half the time. So how does that all come together for you?
Well, for Langkawi, I'm quite lucky that I got a good team.
Okay.
Yeah, excuse me.
Okay, we've got some questions. Which question? Okay. Number question. I can't see. Okay. Welcome. So hi, Mariza from Jakarta. Welcome. Salam. Thank you for joining us again this week. Things around the travel bubble.
Because we can't outbound package from Indonesia to Malaysia. I think it goes back to the travel bubble. Yeah, I think it addresses the travel bubble thing. Yeah. I think just to touch on that idea that is idealistic, but I would say it only works from one location to one location, and that's it. You can't, as in if it's say from Langkawi to one destination, then that's it. And then that island or that location needs to be able to keep itself in a bubble for a long period. That means the residents shouldn't be stepping out anywhere unless the protocols have to be really, really strict.
Okay.
I think in that, so I guess in the case of Langkawi, where you do have normal businesses, where there is, you know, your roros, your ferries and all that. So it's not going to be easy to do that travel bubble,
Okay.
unless, I think in terms of travel. Actually, having said that, Maldives pulled it right. Actually,
Okay.
Maldives did something similar,
Okay.
simply because the islands are exclusive.
Yeah.
So once you land the airport, right, you don't get anywhere. You don't have to step into Mali. You just get onto whatever boat that takes you to the island, and then nobody is allowed to the island unless you're actually a registered guest.
Okay.
So unless you're working there or a guest, that's when you get to be on that particular resort.
Yeah.
Otherwise, there's no way you can get in.
But that's only like 50 people who need to be guaranteed vaccinated in that entire process. Where if it was all of Langkawi, it's like 500,000 people, right? Something like that.
No, Langkawi's population is about 70, 80,000. It's not
Okay.
that, but
Okay.
you're talking about, but that's population. You're not talking about the transient crowd
Yeah.
that comes from Kedah.
Oh yeah.
Because people forget Langkawi is in Kedah.
It's actually in Kedah, yes. Yeah.
But when you go to Langkawi, you'd feel like you're in a different world
Well,
altogether.
exactly.
I always tell my guys who go there, our friends and families, like
Yeah.
they have a great time there and everything, and then they say, look, you're talking Langkawi is the this is my pitch. Langkawi is a 5-star experience at a
Yeah.
3-star price. Okay.
Exactly. And I love Langkawi. I also love Kedah. I love the nasi in the nasi lemak in
Really?
Alustar. Oh, sedap.
Oh,
Very nice.
Kedah is that one is the nasi kandar lah.
Yeah, the
That one.
nasi lemak Haji Ali. If you're in Alustar or Alustar, you go to nasi lemak Haji Ali. Trust me, you will love it.
I gotta check with my staff all Kedahans. I think gotta check.
If anyone, so I think that for me is, I mean, at least we're having these conversations on how we will get tourism moving, because I think for me tourism is it's a cash business. It's money going directly into local economies, and I think that we will see the economic recovery that
Well,
is
I think for the tourism, for me, if people for tourism in Malaysia now is that basically I would say tourism in Malaysia has gotten a bit of a breather.
okay.
Okay, I would say if we want to go forward or anything like that, right now is just look. Eventually, tourism will come back.
Mhm.
There's going to be a demand. Maybe
Yeah.
it'll change in terms of travel regulations, and of course, this
Mhm.
excuse me, this COVID is not going to go away anytime soon.
Okay.
Right, so we're gonna have to live with it just like any other disease
Mhm.
that's existed.
Yeah.
So, but with this break, I'm hoping that we get a chance to reflect, and we've got a lot of flora, fauna, a lot of natural beauty.
Mhm.
We've got a lot of heritage buildings.
Mhm.
Yeah, I would say this is the time if we can reinvest and make sure these things are
tourism assets.
are healthy again.
Okay.
Because over the years, people have been driving tourism in and out,
Exactly.
Some of our local sea life hasn't. Now they have a chance to breathe again. To some extent, right?
Yeah.
I'm hoping this is a chance for. That's why some hotels have closed down. Some hotels are refurbishing. So this is a time to just refresh. Fix things what's broken. Maybe streamline your operations. There's a lot of opportunities you can say. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying it's to some may be impossible, but I would say it's an opportunity, a breather. You wanna if you want tourism to come back in a better footing,
okay,
this will be the time for it to get things right,
okay,
so that we're prepared when things do
come back.
When the wave comes back to our shores, when we get the ball in our hands again,
you better be ready to deal with that.
Yeah.
Now I wanted to ask one question in closing. Now you're a rugby man, but you're also a bit of a martial artist as well.
Oh, we gotta go there now.
Yeah, we gotta go there. We gotta go there. Every once in a while in training, we got to do the. Oh, I can't do them actually, but the kids can and he can.
Okay.
capoeira and mixed martial art. How did you get into that? How and
Well, again, this one of the reasons why I don't play football because I'm not very good at kicking the ball.
Okay.
So I gave that up and
Okay.
decided to go play. So my preferred sports are rugby and basketball.
Okay.
And of late I've switched to certain martial arts like capoeira. I started Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. Just for anyone, I've only in it for a few years. I'm not a master by anything, but and primarily I do it because of family.
Okay.
Yeah, my brother does Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. The capoeira thing because my kids started it.
Okay.
So I want to spend time with my boys, so
Yeah.
I get into it as well. And I got bored with doing all the other exercises, so I want to try something different.
Okay.
And I found what main thing I say of all this is sport is one thing, is the community around it. Much like rugby, much like the martial arts community, there's a closeness that comes, there's a certain value that comes from doing these things.
Yeah, exactly.
I kind of attribute that we're trying to hurt each other while doing it.
Yeah.
So when you come out of it, everybody's
families love to beat each other up. I'm an eldest of like 9 boys, so you know.
I'll use this as an example. As a we enter sport, we do it for family, and then but we also, I'd say, because of the community that comes around it, the value that it teaches.
Yeah, exactly.
The teamwork, the respect, humility. Nothing more humility when especially in martial arts, when you get beat up.
Yeah.
There's somebody half my weight. Okay, let's put
Half
this
your
way.
age. Yeah.
I roll with my son. He's about 13 years old. Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. He's slightly more advanced than me, but so I can't.
You just can't beat him up.
I can't submit him on the mats. Yeah.
Oh wow.
He wriggles out.
Yeah.
And half the time, I'm straight. He. You know when your age, when he just outquicks you pretty much.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, he's got me in a chokehold. I'm like holding. I got to apply my weight advantage on him. It's a whole learning experience, and I find like all these sports, there's something you can learn, something you can translate to another sport, but it boils down to there's a community aspect.
Yeah.
I see a lot of good people that are into these things, and I think and it's something I can bring, which I think will benefit my family, my boys, and obviously your son and everyone involved. Yeah.
It's been a great experience, and I wanted to thank you, Datuk Coach.
You gotta go along.
Dylan.
Okay, guys, on the field, Nordin just calls me coach. He doesn't give me by any title, which is that's my preferred route most of the time.
Yeah, no, it's like when you sent over your resume, I was like, is this your dad's resume that you picked up? No, I'm kidding. But I think one thing that we've learned today, and we really appreciate that, the insights you've given us around teamwork, around trust, around family. And I think that is part of this whole post-COVID. I mean, this is what we want to talk about, is like, how do we get through this COVID, and how do we come out the other side as a better person, as a better company, as a better society, is some of the stuff that you shared with us today, and I really appreciate that. And I think one of the things I say to everybody out there, just get out there and get on the rugby field, get on the sports field, and enjoy that time with your family in this way. I mean, I think that's one of the things. Anything that you wanted to say in closing?
I think in closing is that for whatever I've achieved, or I don't say like, I did that. It's always a team effort. Whether the guy it's like, you see, like the community we're in, especially the rugby community, it's like we've been together 4 years already. 4 years, and I've been coaching a couple of years before that, and it's like, it's not like I already knew all this, but there was somebody there who was already living by these values that I picked off, and then like when I mentioned legacy and history, so learn from it, respect it, don't discard it, pick it up, and then see how it can evolve and see how it can apply for the future. Don't rely on this is how we did it, that's how we're going to stick to it. That doesn't matter. So I would say I'm very fortunate in that sense. I'm very fortunate that yeah, it's not great. The hotel, the tourism, the hotel is suffering at this stage, but it's not great. But at the very least, there's insights.
Yeah.
Learn a few things, and hopefully it allows me to fight the battle in that sense.
Okay, cool.
Knowing full well, there's guys like you that share the same values.
Yeah.
And
thank you very much for your time.
And strive forward. Yeah, great.
Thank you very much also everyone for joining us today. I know there's a bunch of questions. We will get to answer them. And I'll also ask Diong, who's always behind the camera, to take lots of photos of the food we're about to eat. You know, because we are a working lunch with Nordin. Come here. It's just around the corner. Those people over there are eating, and I'm like, ooh, looks good. So thank you again, Datuk, for joining us
It's great.
today.
No, thank you for having me.
And we will see you on the rugby field. And those who are into rugby, check out Cobra. What's our website?
Huh?
What's our website?
CobraRugby.com.
Yeah.
CobraRugby.com.
Yeah. Check out Cobra Rugby. It's a great program for the kids, and I think the parents also have a great time because you know, when we're allowed to, we play touch rugby, and it's a great workout.
It's a great workout. It's a great way to de-stress.
Yeah. And if you want to learn how to twist someone's arm, quite literally, go to the Jiu Jitsu.
There's a lot of guys out there. I spend my time trying to avoid getting my arm twisted. That's what survive is the key thing.
Exactly. So thank you everyone for joining us, and we'll see you again next week on A Working Lunch with Nordin.
Great.
Thank you, Datuk.
All right, thanks.